Great. Here we are to rock you like a hurricane. Or a storm would say, here we are to rock you like a hurricane. I guess sounded more like Bruce Buffer. Anyway, this is Prometheus.
This is Agamemnon.
And you're listening to Straight Outta Austin.
Episode 106.
Glad you knew, because I don't.
Yeah.
But apologize ahead of time that I'm very hoarse from allergies. So if I start coughing up lungs like I'm Heisenberg, yeah, don't be alarmed. It just means that blue meth will start showing up in your city. So first of all, I just want to start off with an angry rant regarding True Detective. No, I'm not insulting True Detective. As far as I know, it's a fantastic show with the Oscar award-winning Matthew McConaughey. And, yeah, Luis in the chat. So you already got to the heart of the matter, Luis. No spoilers. Okay. And, what's the other guy's name? Woody Harrelson. So it's the two of them. They're detectives that are true, I guess. I don't know. I've not even seen the show yet, but it's on my queue. Once I'm done with Season 8 of 24, it's all binge-watching True Detective since I found my way into finagling some HBO Go. So anyway, a coworker who I'm just going to call the Armadillo Killer. And basically, he's all excited about the season finale of True Detective. He's like, oh yeah, you should totally watch it. It's a great show. Then he goes on to spoil the season finale of True Detective after we just told him we have not watched the show at all. And it's just like, dude, why would you do that?
Yeah.
I understand. We do spoil things on the podcast, and often unapologetically. However, when a show is supposedly that good, for me it's like, without even seeing it from the fandom, it sounds like it's up there with my two favorite shows, with Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones, both of which I don't spoil. Well, after a certain amount of time has elapsed, I might spoil. But, they wouldn't be like 24 hours afterwards where it's like, oh, by the way, did you know who dies? Yeah. There we go. Luis says, kill him before he breeds. There's still time, actually, because he has not bred yet, so there is time. But he's very good with guns, so I don't know. It would be hunting the most dangerous game.
Yeah.
Man.
You ever seen Deliverance?
So, I don't know if I'll hunt him. I think I could challenge him to some fisticuffs. He's getting up there in age. I don't think he can take it. Oh, hire a ninja. It's also a good suggestion, Luis. Unfortunately, I don't have the funds. But unless you know a ninja that can work for cheap, maybe if someone can work for like podcast shoutouts, then we can definitely oblige that. So that's my rant about True Detective. That actually has something to do with watching True Detective, which I plan to do in the near future. So if you're out there and you're a Facebook friend or you're on the Pit War site, please do not spoil True Detective. You can tell me how good it is, or if you don't think it's good, tell me how good you think it's not. But any plot details,
don't tell me what it is.
Yeah, exactly. I barely even know. I just know that they're detectives. They're the truest detectives.
I have no idea what it is. It wasn't until today I really heard it. I mean, I saw the post where it was like, I guess Matt Groening drew a picture of Homer and called it the Yellow King. And I guess that was a thing with True Detective. And I was like, well, is this like a new BBC show or something? Like, I had no idea what it was. until yesterday, and then today it's like, yeah, it's got Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson. I was like, well, what?
It's got my two favorite Southern boys in the same show, all right?
So, yeah, I mean, definitely sounds... He made it sound like an interesting show, but just the things that he said...
Yeah.
Which I want to, like, reiterate in his country voice, but, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things, I don't know. I've heard a lot of people who would give credence to their opinion, unlike the Armadillo Killer.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. To me, it's like when you can capture, like, the fandom of, you know... I don't even know how to describe. Like, I would just say hardcore TV watchers. Like, people that really love, like, serious dramas. But also, like, a casual fan base who don't necessarily even watch much TV, and they're raving about it. That's when you know you got some good television. You know, it's like one of our other coworkers, when he's talking about Game of Thrones, he's just like, man, that show's crazy. It's a good show. You know, and it's someone who's definitely not even into medieval fantasy whatsoever, and they're like, yeah, Game of Thrones is my show.
Yeah.
So, Alexandra Daddario is nude in the show.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know either, but apparently she shows off her Daddarios.
Her double Daddarios.
Oh. Anyway, so moving on to the first topic. So this is coming from Kotaku, who I'm sure you're familiar with if you read crappy articles. But basically, Mark Webb came out and made a statement at South by Southwest, which is now raging on in Austin, which means if you want to go, which pretty much means if you have enough food and you can shelter yourself in for the 2 weeks and not go outside and deal with the traffic, I strongly suggest that you do. But basically, I guess he was. I swear, South by Southwest just has celebrities that just pop up out of nowhere that you don't even know were supposed to be there. But apparently, he was there, and in a report by Variety, he made a statement that rebooting the Spider-Man movies was the quote-unquote stupidest idea ever. And I dissed Kotaku right out for the simple fact that it's like a 3-word quote. It's like, okay, well, where's the full sentence? Where's the context?
Yeah.
You know? I mean, did he think it was the stupidest idea ever because just the reboot itself was stupid? That someone who, you know, made his name off of the movie 500 Days of Summer, that he thought, like, why would they pick me?
Yeah.
You know?
Great movie, by the way.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, JGL for the win.
Yeah, I mean, cool, but Zooey Deschanel.
Oh, is she in that too?
Yeah.
I always forget who she is.
She's Summer!
I prefer Autumn.
Oh, spoiler. She's at the end.
But anyway, so, I don't know. I just thought it was kind of funny that, well, the only thing they really elaborate on is, I guess after he had initially turned it down, and I guess he went to his wife and, or not his wife, whoever Pascal is. They didn't even say who this guy is. Okay, Sony Picture boss, Amy Pascal, and she said, honey, you can't turn down Spider-Man. So maybe she's actually Rogue in disguise, and she's like, you know what they say about turning down Spider-Man? You can't. So, Louis said she's from Percy Jackson. Well, that's why I don't know who she is, because going back to Alexandra Daddario, I do know Dario Navarez, but I don't think that's the same person. But anyway, so it's kind of an interesting story. It's just funny, like, as they're promoting Amazing Spider-Man 2, for him to make that comment is just kind of amusing, and I'm sure Sony, their PR department, are not happy with him for saying that.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
I would imagine not. But I mean, at the same time, you know, people usually say those kinds of things when they feel pretty confident that they have nothing to lose. And the fact that he's pretty much already, like, secured in for the third movie, and I'm pretty sure that's the extent that it's going. He's pretty, and, you know, it didn't seem like he's going for a fourth film, or at least not wanting to be involved in one.
Yeah, well, I mean, definitely there's going to be a trilogy, but I don't know if they'll do one past that. But it's one of those things where it's like, really, at the end of the day, it's not as though him making that comment is going to make, like, oh, it's like, it's not going to go from, like, a blockbuster to a flop because he made that comment. Like, most people are never going to hear it, and if those that do, like, you know, I'm not even that huge of a fan of the franchise, but I'm still interested in seeing it, and despite him saying that, you know, it doesn't really bother me. So anyway, so moving on to other topics. So this one I found really interesting, but it's one of those things where the title is very misleading, and then on top of that, it's like, oh, that's cool, but, you know, could be a lot cooler. But anyway, so basically it's from superheromoviesnews.com. And it's basically about... There's like... So basically, you know, Spider-Man is owned... Well, the rights to the Spider-Man... pretty much anything outside of comics and video games is right now owned by Sony. So, you know, everyone's hopes and dreams of Spider-Man being an Iron Man... Or not Iron Man, and the Avengers, or even Iron Man, as the Iron Spider... You know, pretty much tarnished, and there's no way that they're ever going to happen. But there's a little legal loophole. So apparently, whenever they canceled whatever that... What is that series called now? But basically, the last Spider-Man cartoon... Whenever they canceled that...
Ultimate Spider-Man?
No. Spectacular Spider-Man. So, once they got rid of that, that pretty much was like the end of their TV rights.
Yeah.
So they no longer have the TV rights to Spider-Man. Therefore, Marvel now has the TV rights to Spider-Man. Right. So he still can't be in the movie universe, but there is a Netflix TV universe. So there is an open door for him to be in the, you know, Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones TV series, or even in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
So that's a possibility.
Not?
So it's one of those things where it's like I don't know. It's weird because part of me wants to say I don't feel like they'll do that because it might create brand confusion.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like why the hell not? You know, like if you can make a Spider-Man TV show, like why not? So. Oh, Louis says the Netflix shows were confirmed somewhere to be part of the Marvel Universe as a whole. And, yeah, Luis agrees, says he doesn't see him doing it. Because that's the thing.
The Marvel
like,
Cinematic Universe?
Yeah. Because that's the thing where it's like, yeah, it would be awesome to have him in the show, but then it's going to be... I mean, obviously they do in the comics all the time, where it's like someone's attacking New York. It's like, where's Spider-Man? It's like, he should definitely be there, but he's not.
Yeah.
You know, so if they combine the universe and Spider-Man's involved, it would be weird for him to be absent. Like, if aliens invade New York again, he's in New York. Like, where was he, you know?
Yeah.
On a bagel break? Nah.
He was secretly... It's going to be like one of those, George Lucas edits when they come out with the 20-year re-release.
Yeah.
And then you're going to see, like, spider webs, like, shooting randomly everywhere. We're like, oh, look, they added that.
Oh, yeah, I know, right? I don't know. But even though I don't think they will do it, I hope that they do. You know, I mean, obviously, I don't know. I mean, I'm just not that thrilled about the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man universe. And if they could do... more of the traditional Spider-Man, or, you know, this is actually what they could do that would be very interesting. If they wanted to do the Miles Morales Spider-Man, that way you still have Peter Parker, people aren't going to confuse him with the TV one. It's like, okay, here's someone who has the same powers, but he's not exactly the same character.
Right.
So, Louis says, let's not forget the Hey, It's Thursday re-release. So I'm sure that will be coming down from Lucasfilm at a theater near you. But, yeah, so I think that would actually be a smart way to do it. Not to mention now, oh, man, and now Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., like, they have no fucking excuse. Because now you got Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man is like, he's like a notch below Batman with the Rogues Gallery. So it's like, now you have so many characters you can pull from.
I would say less than a notch. They're like neck and neck as far as Rogues Galleries go.
Well, I mean, I think the Batman characters are more interesting, but the Spider-Man characters are like... They're just badass.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of, like, their powers and stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
They're voluminous.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Kraven the Hunter fighting Agent Coulson.
Dude, Kraven and Punisher. Like that episode in the old school Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That was one of my favorite episodes. And right as I was getting into that series again, they took it off of Netflix.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Netflix likes to crush
Because they even animated the X-Men better.
Yeah, they did.
You know, like the couple episodes that they were in, they had the same voice actors and stuff. I thought that was like the coolest.
I thought they looked really weird, actually. Like when they were in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like their color palette was different.
Yeah, the color palette was different because it fit in with the Spider-Man universe.
Yeah.
I liked it better. They felt more fleshed out. And they didn't feel so tiny. Like in their own series, they felt really tiny looking. And in Spider-Man, I was like, so that's what they look like life-size.
Oh, I guess I could see that. Because even Peter Parker, like, he's supposed to be this geek, and he's, like, built like a linebacker.
Oh my God,
you know?
dude, yeah.
The broadest shoulders, pound for
pound.
Like,
you won't be picking on me anymore, Flash Thompson.
It literally is the Simpsons undercover nerd.
Yeah.
Throws, you know, Eddie Brock through somebody's chest. So, I don't know. But I really hope that Marvel seizes this opportunity. Because I can't imagine, like, Kevin Feige not just, like, getting to Woody, like, oh my god, this is what we can do now. You know, we got Spider-Man.
Yeah, possibilities.
So yeah, the possibilities are interesting. But speaking of possibilities, Hugh Jackman realizes the possibility that one day, in the distant future, someone will replace him as Wolverine.
Oh.
And I think it's funny because there's all the fanboys, and I don't blame them because I can understand really enjoying Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, but they're like, oh god, I hope he never retires. Like, he's the only Wolverine for me. For me, it's like, you know, he's definitely earned my admiration as him as Wolverine, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, I could see another Wolverine. Like, it doesn't have to be Hugh Jackman. I mean, granted, with the way they're casting people now, I mean, they'll probably cast, like, Michael Cera as Wolverine. But,
yeah.
you know, but if they do good casting, if someone who their acting chops and their physique does justice to the character, I mean, you know, I think it has a lot of potential as well.
Right, yeah.
But, I don't know, I thought it was funny because I saw recently that, that Hugh Jackman also had said that, like, inevitably there will be another Wolverine movie. After like 4 months ago, he's like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to do another one.
Yeah. He was like, I could do this character forever. Yeah, there's a thing about words and eating them.
Yeah, I don't know. But actors say that all the time. Just like when they quote-unquote retire. I remember I'd wrote an article about Leonardo DiCaprio stepping away from acting. And then he's just like done like blockbuster hit. Or not blockbuster, but like award, you know, Oscar award winning, deservedly winning performances like back to back to back. Yeah. It's like, yeah, I don't think that's the same as retirement. I think that's actually working harder, which is the complete opposite. So, I don't know. That was kind of interesting. The Mary Sue says, whenever Jackman and the X-Men franchise do part ways, I hope that they retire Wolverine for a while. I hope that they don't, though. I mean, I hope that they have him scale him back, where it's not the Wolverine show for the whole.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Or
Yeah.
like make him the support character he was meant to be.
Yeah.
Because like if you remember from that, I hate to bring it up, but it's such a great series. X-Men the Animated Series.
Come on, we're missing dinner.
Yeah, come on, we're missing dinner. Yeah. Now I can't even think anymore. I just think about dinner and missing it, even though I had a hearty dinner.
Nice.
He was such a great tertiary character, at times, or secondary character. I mean, he was like everybody was the main cast. Like Wolverine just got just as much airtime as Jubilee, you know, and no one really outshined the other. But you remember Wolverine and that trademark voice of his, you know. But like everyone had equal time. It wasn't just like Wolverine with Cyclops,
exactly,
or Wolverine fighting Magneto, as ridiculous as that sounds. Or Wolverine, you know, hanging out with Jubilee. You know, it was like everyone hung out with everyone. There was Rogue and there was Gambit.
There were no cliques in X-Men.
There was Storm and Jubilee at times, yeah. And then you actually see the drama with Jean and Scott, which is like infinitely better, more interesting than how the movies portrayed their relationship.
You don't say that!
You don't say that! She's gone! She's gone! You're not saying that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like a lot of people got equal screen time. I mean, granted, they did do Wolverine-centric episodes, but that he wasn't the focal point all the time, and like that's what made it good. You know, they didn't redo Days of Future Past with Wolverine. I mean, granted, they did it with Bishop instead of Kitty Pryde, but it's only because Kitty Pryde, I don't think she was ever even in the series.
No, she wasn't.
Yeah, because I know Iceman made an appearance, Angel, and some other characters, but
that one pissed me off because like when they introduced Iceman, he was so funny and cocky and like somewhat of a nuisance, but overall he was like a perfect character to be in the series. And like that was it. There's one episode.
I would say that's like my one flaw, and there's no other flaws for X-Men.
Yeah.
And it's I only give it this critique because I think it was canceled before its time, and I think had the show continued, because that last season was kind of bad, and it was just like rehashing stories. But what would have given it like a fresh like take for like another couple seasons is to change up the cast. There's so many X-Men, and like some will pop in for one episode. It's like, no, make Iceman, and I know Luis will love this, make Iceman an actual member of the cast, and maybe have somebody leave.
And bring in, because like, who were like some of the more popular characters during that time? It was like Psylocke, Deadpool, Cable. Like, how are you not going to have them in the actual series? Yeah. You know? Or not even have Iceman. He was one of the original 5, and they barely even talk about it. And how the hell do Cyclops and Havoc not know each other after all that time? They're like, my powers don't work on you. Mine don't work on you. Let's duke it out.
I will say, despite that not making any sense, actually, may the Force be with you. He didn't know because he thought his brother was dead the whole time.
Yeah, but just the way they threw it in the series is like, I don't...
But they always did flash back to, like, them parachuting down.
Yeah.
And, like, the parachute somehow catching fire, them not dying.
Yeah.
So he always
what's going on? I'm scared.
But, I don't know. It did make it a hilarious, like, part, because it's just like, yeah. Like, you would think they would at least stop to contemplate. And then Forge never tells him, was like, hey, by the way, Cyclops is your brother. Like, he obviously knew.
I know.
Like, he was screwing with both teams the whole time. Like,
he was always fucking with Bishop.
Yeah.
I went back to the future. Who are you?
Oh, yeah. No,
I have no recollection.
He's like, send me back. I need to help the X-Men. X-Men?
Yeah.
What are the X-Men?
Yeah. And he's got a skeleton of Wolverine.
Yeah.
He's like, what was that guy?
Because I love how it's like, okay, it's supposed to be like a change in the space-time continuum, but I think he was really just trolling him. He's like, I don't like this Bishop guy. Or Jerry Curl.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, to go to the movie X-Men Days of Future Past, I really... Louis says Forge is a dick sometimes, even in the comics. I really wish instead of dreadlocks, they would have given Bishop the Jerry Curl.
Yeah.
I think that would.
I think they give him dreadlocks because in the current series of Ultimate X-Force, when he comes back from the future, he has the dreadlocks,
okay,
which actually he's rocking
now.
Pretty nicely. I'm not a big fan of dreadlocks, but the way they have him drawn in it, I was like, yeah, it's pretty dope looking.
Yeah. I still want the Jerry Curl.
And he's got like the little like future poncho, which is like, man, I hate ponchos, but he rocks it. He rocks it hard.
Maybe just because I just wanted Samuel L. Jackson with the Jerry Curl as Bishop. I come back from the future. We need to stop the Sentinels.
Mine is the one that says "bad motherfucker" from the future on it.
I'm not I'm not that other X-Men. I'm not Nick Fury.
Yeah.
I'm not Ultimate Nick Fury. I'm Bishop. No, I'm not Black Panther. And I'm not Blade. I'm that other one. But yeah.
Brother Voodoo.
Brother. It makes me laugh every time you say that name. One, because I have no idea who he is. And two, the name just sounds ridiculous.
He's like a Louisiana kind of hero.
Louisiana fast.
He's a magic character.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Does he get free discounts at Popeyes for being from Louisiana?
I guess. I love chicken from Popeyes.
They should just do like a team up with like Gambit and Brother Voodoo. And they just go against the T's assassins. Yeah.
That really dirty French Creole. Like, what are you saying? I got a more. I mean, I don't know.
Did ever
they're
watch?
Gonna sound like that redneck dude from Waterboy.
Oh yeah.
Did
you ever watch Swamp People?
Yeah.
Yeah, like they just all sound like that.
Yeah, the dude with the hat, and he was wearing like the colorful polos.
Better yet, it's Gambit and Brother Voodoo just hunting alligators.
Yeah. Gator mutants.
And then you get the alligator from Ninja Turtles. I guarantee we're gonna be having turtle soup.
First you charge the alligator, then you blow it up.
Louis says Brother Voodoo was the sorcerer supreme, while Strange lost the title. Oh, so did they have like an arm wrestling match, but like in their minds? It's like, I took it over.
Astral plane.
Does that mean that Don Cheadle's gonna play Doctor Strange, and they're gonna change to Brother Voodoo when they do their Marvel movie? I hope that happens, just so we can watch the hate flow. But speaking about hate, Miles Teller is talking about what appealed to him about the Fantastic Four reboot.
Yay.
So, still don't know who this up-and-coming actor Miles Teller is, but I know that every time I hear his name, it makes me think of Sons of Anarchy with Jax Teller. But apparently he's going to be playing... Yeah, that's all I can think about. Like, I know nothing else about this kid. But apparently this fresh-faced actor is going to be playing Mr. Fantastic. And he said, well, for me, I didn't grow up really as a comic book kid necessarily. Fantastic Four is my dad's favorite comic book. So for me, I guess that's what attracted me originally was Josh Trank. I think Josh Trank is a very creative, inventive guy. You look at Chronicle, you look at what he did for that budget, and just how he told the story, really well done. I want to chase directors at this point. And then the cast kind of came together. Michael B. Jordan. Just listing out the cast. Katie Mara and Jamie Bell. I was very excited. And he said he was joking around about a year ago. He says, I guess he'll be playing a superhero soon. Okay, he just assumed because it's like, oh, well, everyone's playing superheroes. And then he's like, oh, my God, I'm actually playing a superhero. Well, this guy's so charming and endearing already.
Yeah.
So there you have it. He likes Josh Trank, so he's like, hey, put me in a movie, and now he's in a movie. So now you have the very uninteresting reason why Fantastic Four appealed to him.
Which has actually nothing at all to do with comics.
Which has absolutely nothing to do with Fantastic Four. Like, at least if he was like, yeah, it's my dad's favorite comic. And like maybe if his dad like still read Fantastic Four, and he's like, son, I know I'm not supposed to live vicariously through you, but I'm gonna need to live vicarious through you, and you need to get in that movie.
Bang Sue.
Yeah, exactly. Make her the visible woman, so she'll see you coming. But Louis said Z. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, but I just love how people are so angry about Miles Teller being Mr. Fantastic. Mm-hmm. It's like I don't even know him well enough to be angry. I'm just very like, okay. Well, this is probably one of the few times where I'm at like completely in the wait and see category, because it's like I have nothing else to go off of, and I really have no desire to go look up his movies and watch them. So
yeah,
Jamie Bell on the other hand.
You want to ring her bell?
No, it's a dude.
Ring my bell.
And no bell ringing for Mr. Bell at all.
Ring my bell.
Anyway, so speaking of ringing bells, you might hear less of the bell ringing in your local comic book shop as Marvel's phasing out retail comic distribution to focus on digital.
Sigh.
Yeah. So apparently Marvel sold over, now it's a long number, 125 million comics since 2009. Or no, Cosmicology has, instead most of them from Marvel. So apparently their digital business is doing really well. And, and I think that's great. I think that's great that people have other ways of of getting comics. And I guess one of Marvel's arguments for doing this is, with the single issues, if they're not sold, they go right back into they go into the bargain bin, as opposed to digital. I mean, you don't have an inventory, Yeah. It's almost like you really only are paying for it one time, and you can just resell it till the end of time. So, I don't know. And they've been doing promotions, at least I know of since last year when they gave away, free comics. They did it.
It was like 750 free comics.
Yeah, when few comics stood against many. And they have their Marvel Unlimited or whatever it's called. But, I don't know, it stresses me out, because it's just like I participated in the Get 700 Free Comics. I downloaded a whole bunch, like ones I was excited about, and it's a year later, and I have not looked at a single one. It's just like I have no desire to read comic books on my computer.
It's just kind of like... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, you can go ahead.
Okay. I don't know, it just feels very impersonal. Mm-hmm. Like, for me, I read manga off my phone, but that's just because, it's cheaper.
It's free.
Yeah, it's free. Yeah, but manga's so sparse here in America, and it's grossly overpriced. Mm. You're paying like $9 for each book. And that might not seem like a lot. Like, $9 to me is pretty cheap if I'm getting like an Oscar Wilde book.
Yeah.
Or some Shakespeare or something like that. But like manga, especially when there's like volumes of it, that amounts to a lot of money.
Yeah.
I understand print value and blah, 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 blah. That's a lot of fucking money in the long run when you're buying like one of these tankobons like every, 2 or 3 months. That builds up over time,
Yeah.
But, I mean, I guess comparatively it's not a whole lot compared to like the $30 of comics I buy every week.
Trying to keep up with a Marvel event with 10 tie-ins and 5 spin-offs.
Yeah.
It's all woefully unsatisfying at the end.
Yeah. Plus, I got no room for all these like little tiny fat books.
Well, I don't know. But Luis said he heard that it wasn't true that they're phasing out print. That seems a lot more plausible because it's like regardless of how well the digital comics are selling, one, they're going to be at a disadvantage because then literally you go on the shelf. Obviously there's indie comics, but then it's nothing but DC.
Yeah.
So you're pretty much taking yourself out of the game, and it's like digital is still kind of catching on. Despite that they sold over 100 million. I would like to compare that figure to how much the print comics have sold since 2009.
Well, what I really want to know, I want raw numbers because I still feel like there's something not being taken into account. Like they use this huge number, but it's like how much of that is given away free or as gifts, stuff like that.
I would imagine They wouldn't include free stuff in the numbers sold because then it wouldn't be the numbers sold.
Yeah,
It'd be like
but I
distributed.
mean, you never know that it could just be a ploy to like, hey, you know, we're gonna do this. Everyone needs to start gearing towards.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. It
digital.
could just be advertising. I don't know if they're a public company or if they're private, but I mean, it's one of those things that if they are public, you could look up and actually verify.
Yeah.
So, either way, not a fan of digital comics. And for those that are, you know, more power to you. I mean, I think it's always great. I mean, if digital is going to bring in more people, you know, that's awesome. And if you just personally prefer it, to me, I don't know, just books in general, I like to have paper. I like to know that a tree died so that I could read.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens. And then you appreciate it more.
It's a circle of life.
Yeah, exactly. And then the one day that tree or that comic book gets planted in the ground and becomes a tree again.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but like if you drop your laptop for all the digital stuff you have saved, that entire folder's gone.
Yeah.
You know, if your hard drive gets fried.
Yeah.
You know, all your I mean, you can go back online, I'm sure, and like re-download them. But then that's just like this huge painstaking effort. Like it literally is going to take a freak accident for all your physical comics to be like badly damaged. You know, like it's going to take an act of God.
What if you said Shazam and then lightning hit your house and burned all your comics up?
Well, exactly. This proves my point. I'd be really angry, but at least I'd have superpowers.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
At that point, would it kind of tip the scale? Because then it's just like, all right, well now you have superpowers, so now you are a comic character. But you wouldn't necessarily... I don't know if I would really, like, spend all my time reading comics at that point, because I think I'd be too busy, you know, trying to fight crime and all that.
I don't know if I'd fight crime.
I don't know if I'd have that much time, or even if you didn't use your powers for good and you just did it to just fly around and be a jackass, it would still be very time-consuming.
Like, well, now I can finally bypass that gas tax I vile so much. Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing else.
You, sir, dream big.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I'd like to think that I do.
So, speaking of dreaming big, we got Zack Snyder responding to the controversial casting choices and fans' opinions. So I actually haven't read this one just yet, but I'm gonna. Louis said he's giving his thoughts about digital. So you guys should check that out on punchingthewallsreality.com on Luis's Comic Bubble. Also, speaking of the Comic Bubble podcast, coming soon to your ears near you, which I would hope your ears are near you. If not, they've been severed. They've probably been kept as a trophy in Diablo multiplayer.
And if you haven't already, go and like the Facebook page.
Yeah, like it. You get to see Iceman just relaxing, just sitting there, just like waiting for his call from X-Men the Animated Series to be called back for another episode. Anytime now. The awesome art done by Johnny Freeze. And also check him out on, I think, Johnny Freeze. I wish I knew his URL. You can find him. Just type in Johnny Freeze. There's not that many. So anyway, so I haven't actually read this article, so bear with me. I'm just going to kind of skim. Yeah, because I read the articles beforehand anyway. Anyway, so Mr. Snyder says, I'm very excited. It was very fun to get into this world with very different superheroes coexisting in the same universe. But a lot of balls in the air, as they say. And I like balls. As a fan, it's an amazing opportunity. You know, Superman and Batman in the movies had never existed in the same frame together, so it's an interesting historical thing. We were just testing the suits, right? The new bat suit, the Superman suit. It wasn't even with actors, right? It's just to see them. I was standing there. They were standing next to each other, and I was like, guys, someone take a picture. This has never happened before. We slightly dorked out. Like, are you kidding me? So apparently you got a Woody about it, and this still doesn't address any of the other stuff. Because I understand the canon. I'm not crazy. I know what these characters need from a mythological standpoint. I think Jesse's going to be an amazing Lex.
I like he just completely ignores. Though I know how these characters are supposed to be from a mythological standpoint. But enough about that. I think Jesse's going to be a great Lex. I mean, this guy was an Academy Award-winning actor. He's like, yeah.
He's like, I understand history, but I'm still going to make 300 fight giant elephant beast creatures, all right?
Yeah.
Slow motion for me. That's funny you mentioned that, because let's not forget, he was nominated for an Academy Award. It's not like I just grabbed my friend to say, play the guy. This guy's the real deal.
Yeah, unless your friend is like Matt Damon, it's just like, oh, sure, I'll play him. Like, right. Get Matt Damon. It's like, I don't know.
Matt Damon.
Just because he's got an Academy Award doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean shit.
Hey, he plays a douchebag.
They gave an Academy Award to fucking, what was that Eddie Murphy movie? Norbit.
Did they really?
Yeah, they gave that movie an Academy Award. I mean, it was for prosthetic stuff, whatever that award is. But it's like,
you sure it was Norbit? Sure, was it like Nutty Professor? Or something?
It was Norbit.
Wow.
Yeah,
the Academy's just giving away awards.
That's what I'm saying. It was like when that movie came out, they got an Academy Award for, what do you call it? Like screen effects or whatever that fucking award. I don't watch the Academy Awards, and that was probably the last time I actually did watch it. I just remember seeing that. I was like, huh, Norbit?
Yeah.
I mean, not to take anything away from them, but after the whole fiasco with the what was that sound that VFX team that made that tiger for
for Pi.
Yeah, for Life of Pi. It's like, oh, well, they give the effects award to Norbit, where they completely ignore the dudes that made Life of Pi.
Yeah.
It
was funny because they gave cinematography to Gravity, but most of it's CGI.
I know. I know. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
I don't know. But what does the Academy know when someone like Matthew McConaughey can get the Oscar? All right. He's actually a fantastic actor. I just wanted an excuse to say.
They say I get older and they stay the same age.
I just want an excuse to say, all right. But I still think Leo should have got it.
All right, boys, let's go play some paintball.
That's probably what he's doing right now. He's probably just paintballing with his award like tied to his forearm. Why not? Anyway.
Trying to find the Yellow King.
So Snyder continues by saying, by the way, and looking at all the talk back, you get all different perspectives in there too. Some people are hating to hate. Someone did some fan art, and you look underneath and someone wrote, I guess I can see it. Honestly, are you kidding me? Just stop it! It's reassuring and frustrating at the same time. I love how his thoughts just seem so jumbled.
Yeah.
Or all of a sudden he's just like, so it seems all right, and then fuck you guys, man. Zack Snyder.
Fuck that. They're just haters. They're haters, man. I just screw the haters. But Eisenberg's gonna be really good.
I just want to make a movie with Superman and Batman. Yeah. I want them to punch stuff really hard.
That's all I want to be known for. It doesn't have to be good. I just want to be the first. You know?
I'm still surprised. I mean, not that surprised. I'm so surprised when they had him do 300. Or not 300. Watchmen.
Watchmen, yeah.
Because I didn't hate it. I didn't love it as much as I would have liked to. But he still seemed like such an odd choice. I think everyone kind of
felt that way.
Because some people did actually really enjoy it.
I enjoyed it. I'm one of those maybe few. Mm-hmm. To me, I feel like it's more polarizing. I tend to steer clear from the forums. But for me, I would feel... and maybe Rotten Tomatoes or Metacritic can back me up here, but I would say it's more polarizing than anything, because it could have been a lot better.
Oh yeah,
and his defense of it, we talked about it on the last episode, I think was justified to a degree.
But what was his defense? Chewbacca.
His whole defense was because somebody came out and I forget what the guy's name was, but they came out and said that they would have done a better job.
Yeah.
That Snyder's Watchmen was more or less a travesty. And Snyder's just like, my stuff was almost deadly faithful to the what do you call it?
The comic.
To the comic.
The graphic novel.
To the source material. That's the word I was looking for. And it was to a degree. There's literally scene, panel for panel, scene for scene, the way they carry through. And he even tried to get as many like props that were in the background comic of the comic, in the backgrounds in the comic, and try to bring them on screen. But there's only so much you can do before you need to really make the movie its own, so that it works on screen. Because not everything. Even Moore comes out and says, this isn't meant for the big screen. This is literally for you to sit in your favorite chair and grab your hot cocoa and sit down and read it.
Yeah.
I
think that's the thing. I don't know. I wouldn't harp on him. I don't know. I don't have like strong feelings.
I wouldn't harp on him, but it just definitely. I'm not trying to harp on. Yeah, look, 56 on Metascore. So yeah. I would say it's
for
more
me.
Like
it just wasn't memorable because I literally would have to
rewatch
rewatch it to give you a better opinion. But I just thought it was interesting where it's like, for someone who is pretty much accused of like all flash and no substance, to do a comic that's like deep with substance. I just thought it was a really interesting choice. Yeah. It's like, really, that's the guy you're gonna pick? But I don't know.
Well, the thing that killed it for me is like they took out everything that really brought the ending together.
Yeah,
the whole thing with the artist and the huge alien at the end. Mm-hmm. Like they completely like botched all that.
Well, not only did they botch it, they changed it.
Well, no, okay. Well, that's what I meant when I said botched. But to me, it pretty much covers both aspects. Where like they changed it and botched it, and by changing it, they botched it. But yeah, to me, like they botched it by changing that whole ending, and it just automatically made the movie not work. Yeah. Like I understand they were trying to adapt it to more because back then it was like it was created around Reaganism, and they tried to adapt the movie to modern times instead of making it more like a historical piece, and it worked. It really did work when they modernized it, but it's like, don't change the stuff that makes the end work.
Yeah.
Because then killing Rorschach is more or less meaningless, So I don't know, it just didn't make sense. There wasn't like the millions of people that died in New York or anything like that, and it was just like, no, they just went and hung out in the Antarctic. One of them died, and the other two had sex.
Yeah, well, at least somebody got lucky.
Yeah, and Dr. Manhattan moved to Mars.
Yeah, and his blue dong from the rafters. But yeah, so I don't know. But anyway, so Superman vs. Batman, we'll see. We'll wait and see how it is. But actually, got two topics that are related to that. So apparently they've released what allegedly is what the Wonder Woman outfit is going to look like. And I'm linking it in the chat for those that are there. But for those that aren't there, I think for me the best way to describe it is if you ever played Injustice, it pretty much looks like that. It's the Wonder Woman where she's got the shield and the sword, and instead of having like the bloomers type pants, she's got a skirt, and she's got a pretty badass looking cape. And I don't know, it looks pretty badass. Like I'm really interested to see what it's going to look like on screen if they do go with that design. And it was funny because when I was looking at it, just like it always looks silly to me. Like I was just thinking, even with like Thor, where they're like, they have the sword and the shield against people that have guns. I was just like, well, why don't you just have like a gun or whatever? But it's like at the same time, it's like, well, I guess if you're gonna have a sword, then you might as well have a shield so you can deflect any bullets that are coming towards you.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, I guess that works.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But I think it has a lot of potential. I don't know. And again, like going back to Zack Snyder, there's one thing he does well in his action. So I'm expecting to see some really badass fights with Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
So
I definitely think the potential is there if you get the right choreographers.
Yeah.
Not just like this bullshit wushu, like kind of whitewash for the American audience.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying he did good in like Man of Steel, so
yeah,
I expect kind of more of the same.
Well, yeah, but Wonder Woman's not Superman. You can't have Wonder Woman fight the same way Superman does. Like she's like martial art classically trained, it's like she actually uses techniques and moves and stuff like that, and like when you see her fight, she's doing like proper blocking and parrying. It's not just like she doesn't just absorb a hit intentionally, like they earn it. They earn their hits, and she's like, ugh!
And take out half a city in the process.
Yeah, and she like her head goes back, and she's got this like grating, like ugly face, and then she just rears her head back, or pushes her head forward. And she's like, "Now it's on, bitch." You just pissed Mama off.
Well, Gal Gadot did say she's training in several martial arts, so
yeah. And I hope it does end up good because I would like to be wrong.
Yeah,
I would. I honestly would like to be wrong, but I don't think I am.
I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be terrible. That's the whole thing. It's like usually when you judge a sequel by its predecessor, it's like, well, Man of Steel wasn't great, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like that's how I'm going to feel with the sequel. It's like, I don't think I'm going to be like, wow, this is mind-blowing, this is better than the Avengers. I'm like, you know what? The things it did well, it did really well. Yeah. And it left a lot to be desired in other areas. But for me, that's kind of like when you go in, I mean, it's like one of those things. It's like you go in with expectations. If you're seeing a Zack Snyder movie, you're seeing a Zack Snyder movie regardless.
Yeah.
You know? So, as long as Batman looks badass fighting, I don't care if he has a chin dimple.
Yeah.
Courtesy of Ben Affleck.
I mean, we've talked about it before, but like Man of Steel was incredible. For me, it was an incredible movie. It spoke more to me than the Christopher Reeves version. But there were glaring mistakes. There were the plot holes. The whole freaking Krypton USB stick. That was just odd. It was cool, but it was odd. And then the fact that they kind of like, oh, he's got all of Krypton inside of him. I was like, really?
That whole scene where they do that, like I wish they would have explained it better.
Yeah.
Because the whole time you think it's the Krypton USB, and there's like, oh wait, no, it's encoded in his DNA.
Yeah, it's like, why? Like,
yeah.
I don't get it.
Okay, we're already on the subject, so I'm just gonna say, like, what I didn't get was what was the point of terraforming the planet? Because they can obviously live in that environment.
Yeah.
And they have superpowers. So why would you want to put it on the Krypton's environment when you just be like regular humans? Like, everyone on the planet would be a god.
Well, okay, well, obviously they destroyed their own planet. So they're not keen on thinking things through. So thank God, Superman. Well, I guess
he was bred for it.
Yeah, he didn't think things through either. But
well, there you go. That's why they're extinct.
You know, oddly enough, because you make fun of it all the time, but you know, really dwelling on it, the part that irked me the most was Jonathan Kent's death, and it wasn't because it was like ridiculous or unnecessary. It was unnecessary, and mostly because you know he sacrificed himself. Really for nothing, but you know, in my head, I think it would have been much more powerful and humanized Clark or Superman a lot more had Jonathan just died of a heart attack like he did in the comics.
Yeah,
you know, where it's just like, oh, you know, his parents died just like, well, obviously because they're human, but it's like he feels pain just like, you know, people feel pain. You know, he's not just this god, emotionless god like people think. And you know, if his dad died like that and gave him like these beautiful, touching words on his deathbed while you know he's looking like Superman, I thought like, oh, that would have been an incredible scene to me, not just like this pass off flashback. Oh, I'm gonna go save the dog. Reminds me of that story that I heard at work when I was taking a class for fire safety. It was like, yeah, this fire safety guy had been teaching fire safety for like 30-something years, retired. You know, had been teaching fire safety all his life up until like, you know, 3 years ago. And he's been enjoying retirement for maybe a little over a year. Lived out in like Bastrop. And yeah, something like that. And he was a friend of the guy speaking. He's like, and fire happens in his house. Goes through all the drills, and his wife's like, "Oh, my little poochie dog. It's like a little rat terrier." Yeah. You know, the way they described it. And he's like, "Oh, you know, I've been teaching for years. A dog is replaceable. A human life is not. Yeah. Or at least your loved one's is not.
Until cloning gets more advanced." Exactly.
Yeah. Stem cell research. So he goes in after the dog. Dog wasn't even in the house.
Oh, man.
And he dies. He got caught in the fire.
He pulled a Kent.
You know, so it's just like, and that, you know, if it was something like that, that'd be like tragic. But like, it was like, to me, it was like the same things. Like, he goes after a fucking dog. They don't even have the same dog at the end of the movie. It's like this little rat dog, and then, you know, fast forward, it's like this nice little golden collier. Yeah, it's like obviously they've gotten a different dog than the one that was in the flashback. It's like, well, that dog fucking
It's like that dog died of shock. But, yeah, it was terrible. Louis says the USB thing would have been fine if it was just a message, not some conscious crap. Yeah. I don't know. Like, actually, that was probably one of my favorite parts. Just because it was Russell Crowe being badass. Even after death, he's still badass. Yeah. But he also said no one in the movie really thought things through. No. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. Like, absolutely nobody. Even like Zod, who's supposed to be like this military tactician. Yeah. Like, I think they were making fun of it on how things should have ended. And it's just like, you know, because it's like when they do that little like dream sequence, it's like he couldn't have shown Superman like, hey, let's actually show something really awesome. This is what the Earth is going to look like when Krypton takes over. Yeah. And it could be like this utopia. Like, even if that wasn't the case, like, you're going to show him skulls, like he's going to be buried in skulls, and you think that's going to be conducive to having your one hope for saving your race? It's just like, who programmed this shit? Like, you know? Yeah. Who thought that was going to be a good idea?
Who put Desolate Atomic Wasteland? I wanted dream
I wanted
utopia.
I wanted unikitties and rainbows.
Where's the My Little Pony background? Put her on the holodeck.
Somebody get Bill Gates in here. Louis says you could have terraformed Mars.
Oh my God, you totally could have, and then raced the freaking Krypton babies on Mars.
You're blowing my load. You're blowing my mind.
Earth in 30 years.
Well, even if they didn't want to attack, they could have just. I mean, there's plenty of planets. There's plenty of planets in the solar system. Yeah,
well, that makes you think if they could have
terraformed an entire planet, you didn't need Earth.
Okay, well, shit. Well, there's another plot hole because they find the world engine.
Oh yeah, they could have.
So it's like, what happened to the people who could have just converted that fucking planet? You know,
maybe
like, why didn't they use the world engine to convert that planet so they could start planting?
Yeah, I don't know, because apparently he was. I mean, I can understand, like, if they would have at least explained, like, he was that obsessed because of the whole Kal-El thing, where he's like, you know what, we could do that. Like, maybe if at least one of his generals was like, sir, maybe we could just do this. He's like, no, I told him several times in repetition that I would find him, and I'm gonna live to my word. Yeah. Where it's just like, if it was really just like his like Moby Dick, like obsessive quest, like it'd be like, okay, now I understand, because he's not acting rationally.
Yeah.
That would make perfect sense, but yeah, it was just like, you know, we could just terraform this planet over here, you know, it's got water.
Yeah, but they were like all on board with him. They were like, we've Mind Fiora!
Yeah, we got the Curiosity robot, he can be a pet. But in other Batman, Superman news, Bryan Cranston. So, he
cites the biggest troll ever.
Yeah, basically. So he was talking about how, so there were rumors before Agamemnon's favorite actor, Jesse Eisenberg, was cast to play Lex Luthor. There are rumors about Bryan Cranston playing Lex Luthor. And at one point, he had actually responded to the rumors, and he was like, no, that's not true, you know. People see a bald guy, you know, on Breaking Bad, they think that I should play a bald guy, but I haven't heard anything about it. But after the casting is all set and the internet, you know, rage has died down, he's like, you know what? That actually would have been kind of cool. I would have loved to, but nobody called me. It's like he's just saying that now, just to get a rise out of people. It's like, oh yeah, I totally would have done it. You know, I mean, hey, I was sitting by the phone day and night, just waiting.
It's Wizard World trolling as Walter White, all over again. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. But it was just funny. So I don't know. Bryan Cranston's a goof, and to me, I don't know. Like, he would have been a cool Lex Luthor, but hey, Heisenberg does what Heisenberg does. So he's got his hands full fighting Godzilla. I don't think he needs Superman on his plate as well. So that's all I got to say about that. But it would have been cool if he had done something like really despicable as Lex Luthor, and then Superman like flies down there. Is like, who could have done this?
Yeah,
and he just walks out of the shadows. You know who did this, Clark? Say my name, Lex Luthor. You goddamn right. So, for that scene alone, it would have been awesome. But, you know, it is what it is. I don't know. I actually kind of think Jesse Eisenberg will be a good Luthor, only because, if you think about it this way, obviously the role he's going to play is the really obnoxious villain that you just want Superman to beat into a paste.
Yeah.
But it's like, Superman, well, I don't know. Well, this Superman does kill people, so maybe there won't be as much tension. But maybe if he was just like... You know, like, I never want to take another life. Like, he becomes like Rurouni Kenshin, and he has a double reverse fist, and he won't kill anymore. And it was just like, so you just keep seeing Eisenberg do all this stuff, and you're just like on the edge of your seat, like, just kill him already, you know? Yeah. And he's like, I can't do it. I got to put him back in prison, and he breaks out again, kills some more people. Yeah. So I can see that, because it's like, okay, if
kills Lois.
Yeah. Lois, but it's like
this is an injustice.
By the producers of Mortal Kombat. But it's like you already hate him already because he's Jesse Eisenberg, and you hate him even more because his character is gonna be terrible, and you hate it even more because he won't just kill him. It's like,
and then you hate him even more because he's gonna look like a little idiot bald. Oh, he's gonna look like a dirty bald rat bear.
So I don't know. So I can kind of see like it's kind of a role that can suit Eisenberg depending on how they do it. But BloodOcean07, thanks for joining us. You can shout out to him on Twitter at BloodOcean07. And he said, Bryan Cranston was too busy with Godzilla. And Louis said, don't tell Jay that. He said, ooh, too late. So yeah, Godzilla. That's what's going on.
Gojira.
So anyway, they've casted young Catwoman and young Bruce Wayne for the Gotham TV series. So I didn't even know they were going to do a Catwoman until I saw this. But obviously they're going to try and shoehorn as many characters as they can. Mm-hmm. So basically they have relative newcomer Cameron Bitcoin Dova, something. I don't know. But basically, she's going to play a teenage orphan who's suspicious and wholly unpredictable. She's a street thief and a skilled pickpocket who is dangerous when cornered. So, there you go.
By Kondova?
Yeah. So, that sounds pretty exhilarating. Let's see. So, they also have an actor, Drew Powell, to play Butch Gazian, the second in command to Jada Pinkett Smith's Fish Money. Oh, I just said Fish Money, Fish Mooney.
Fish Mooney, yeah.
This is my fish money. They use starfish for money. Where's the... I thought there was a young Bruce part somewhere in here.
Yeah, I wrote it all out for you on the Google Docs, and you're just kind of like skipping around at will.
Yeah, I didn't really have time to go through that. But
I went through it for you.
Yeah.
I literally just...
So anyway.
I hate you.
So okay, it's going to be a 12-year-old David Mazouz to play...
Mazouz! Where's the Y? Mazouz.
Yeah. Exactly. Do you have a mic in my face?
To play the young Bruce Wayne.
Oh, you want to read it? Go ahead, buddy.
His most recent work was on Touch, a TV show which also starred Jack Bauer. Jack Beer. But was canceled by Fox after 2 seasons. The Hollywood Reporter writes, young Bruce is described as serious and soulful. Like, I don't know, I already ruined it. And relies on the guidance and protection of Alfred Pennyworth, Sean Pertwee, and James Gordon, Southland's Ben McKenzie.
Oh, yeah. The OC kid.
Yeah.
California!
The obsessive compulsive kid.
Oh, is that what he was?
Yeah.
Anyway.
But what else is interesting...
Is there?
Donal Logue.
Oh, yeah.
Who will be playing Harvey Bullock.
Monster.
Was talking to Nerd Repository. It's a suppository. What I do love about Gotham that I can say so far is that it creates this incredible world that, for me, you can step into things that almost feel like the roaring anachronistic element to it, where it feels like it's either New York in the 70s, or it kind of exists independently of time and space in any way. And you can dip into all these different genres. So I'm excited by it. You monster.
You animal.
You animal.
He's like the only person in this entire list that I know anything about. Well, I guess the
not only that, but the one that seems like the most excited. Like, I'm going to be able to stretch my legs on all this, you know?
I'm not dead in this series. So, I don't know. I'm still kind of like on the fence about Gotham TV. Again, I'll give it the old pilot episode try, but
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it could be good. It's just one of those things where it's like it's going to depend on how it all comes together. But it has kind of an interesting premise.
Yeah, true that.
Yeah, Blood Ocean 07 says, I hope this series will be good. I also hope that. And Louis says, Donald Logue is a
Logue! Donal Logue. It's not even Donald.
Donald Logie.
What's the matter with you, animal?
Louis said he's perfect to play Hoovy.
Hoovy? Hoovy? What the fuck's Hoovy?
Anyway.
I hate you.
So apparently, because people couldn't get enough of Human Centipede, for some reason this jackass is making a third one. And I don't know. Like, I honestly want to know, like, who enjoyed... Okay, maybe you enjoyed the first one because it was novel and disturbing. Mm-hmm. But I heard the second one was, like, hardly even a movie, where he was just like, oh, you wanted to see gross stuff? Here's all the gross stuff. And it was hardly even, like, a movie. It was like, what more can you do in the third one? Are there, like, their eyeballs going to be stitched together now? Or, you know, it's just... I don't know.
Knows?
The whole, like, gross out, like, horror movie stuff, like, never appealed to me. It's just like, okay, can I at least get some sort of, like, I don't know, interesting story, you know, some tension, some action, some entertainment. Yeah. Louis says his Prometheus talking here is John Travolta.
Travolta?
Yeah, I'm presenting the Oscars, actually. But, and then I'm going to do the Pulp Fiction dance with no shoes on. After I get a $5 milkshake. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really have any positive opinions on Human Centipede 3. I won't be watching it. I
don't even know why we mentioned it.
I just saw it and I was just like, why? That's why. Just because it's just like I don't. It just boggles my mind, I guess. Wow. So I guess he promised a 500-person centipede. So I guess that's supposed to be the
500 people.
Yeah.
Why?
Deep. Oh, so here's one thing about it. So apparently, where is it now? So Oscar nominee Eric Roberts is going to be involved, which I guess that Oscar wasn't doing much for him. But also porn star Brie Olson.
Wait. Eric Roberts is in Julia Roberts' brother?
I believe so.
Like the Eric Roberts who does all those crazy sci-fi movies?
Yep, that would be the one.
Huh.
Yeah. So,
interesting.
apparently that Dark Knight money's dried up, so there you go. And Tiny, and I'm not even mispronouncing, Tiny Lister, who was from Friday and the Fifth Element.
Yeah, it's Debo.
Oh, that's his name.
Yeah.
That his name was just Debo.
No, I always knew his name was Tiny, but I always forget his last name. Yeah, him, and then, but did you say Brie Olson?
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah. The other Olsen sister that no one knew was an adult film star. And, this film just got interesting.
She can't act.
But can anybody act in the first one? All the acting was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. It's all she's gonna do is get like butchered. Anyway, it's gonna be like the cliche like horror slasher film shit.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, okay, whatever.
And then some other guy from Nip Tuck, Robert Lasardo.
Was that the guy that played Doom?
Probably.
From Fantastic Four?
You mean Dr. Van Damme?
Dr. Van Damme, yeah.
Just as a tangent. So people are all bitching about, the Fantastic Four reboot. Blah, blah, blah. It's casted as blah, blah, blah. Oh, it's going to be so terrible. Did you see the first ones? They couldn't.
Yeah.
They couldn't. Even
how do you justify those acting talents? You know, it's like, okay, Chris Evans and Michael Chiklis, they were good.
Dude, they held it down.
But they were secondary actors. That's the worst. That's even worse. It's like Sue and Reed, they're like the forefront. They're the ones that like push the team. You know, the other two are just support. And they were the blandest, dumbest, crappiest douchebags in the whole freaking series.
Well, even worse.
They were terrible. And I love Jessica Alba. Loved. Past tense. This movie made me realize she's not that great. Like,
really?
if you could buy if you could buy stock in Hollywood, like I bought into her, you know, during Idle Hands. You know, I was like, this stock is gonna go somewhere, and it did.
Yeah.
And it shot all the way to the top. She was in Sin City. She's doing all these other movies. She was like the hot shit, and I was like, yeah, I invested early and liked her before everyone else. Same way I felt about Zooey Deschanel, but she actually has stock.
Yeah.
And Jessica Alba was like, she did that movie, and I was just like, golly, this movie fucking sucks.
Apparently you never saw Dark Angel because she was pretty terrible in that.
I liked Dark Angel.
I liked it too, but it wasn't because her acting was good. It was because like, wow, there's a pretty lady on screen. I'm going to keep watching. Because it was not a good show by any stretch of the imagination.
It wasn't that great. I like how they had what was that vehicle, the Honda Fit or something? Like it was supposed to be all futuristic and it wasn't.
I don't even know.
What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at the Honda Fit.
Oh, well, you're looking at something else. Like you were laughing at someone else. I'm sorry, I'm not used to you laughing at my stuff.
Louise said Dark Angel was a great show.
It was good. It was good.
I don't know.
It kind of sucked after like the second season.
It was like when the wheelchair guy turned out to be a villain.
Yeah.
And then he walked this way.
Mein Führer, I can walk.
Oh man, I had a. Oh yeah. So speaking of Jessica Alba, 9 years later, we're getting to Sin City 2.
Yay! Don't care.
You know, it's funny because like I liked the first Sin City.
I liked it. It was okay.
And I was kind of excited for a sequel. It was like it's been so long.
Yeah.
And the only thing that makes it interesting is like I mean it does have a great cast. So you know you got Clive Owen, you got Josh Brolin, you got
Bruce Willis.
I don't know. Is Bruce Willis in it?
He was
I thought
in
he
the
blew his
first
brains out. Oh yeah, but I think it's a prequel though. No. Okay, yeah. So it is Bruce Willis.
Was he gonna be even older?
And Rosario Dawson. Yeah, he's older.
Older in
he
the prequel?
ages in reverse. He's Benjamin Button, and of course, You got what's his face. Oh yeah. So, but anyway, my point is Jessica Alba. So maybe she'll redeem herself in your eyes, and maybe she's learned how to act in the last 9 years.
Nah, I don't. It's not even about having any redeeming qualities. It's honestly just like, yeah, I don't care anymore. Like, it's not like I've lost faith. It's just like, yeah, there was nothing. Like, it just made me realize there's nothing great about her. Like her acting, nothing. Like she brings nothing to the table. Even looking back on her previous stuff, is like she's famous because she's hot.
Yeah,
and that's fine. A lot of actresses are, but like at the end of the day, years from now, no one's gonna sit there and say like, "Wow, she was an incredible actress," because she wasn't.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. Like you said, when you said you bought into her stock, I guess you must have saw something that wasn't there. Because from day one, I was like, "Yeah, she's a subpar actress, but she's pretty," and that's
she had this like. She just had sex appeal. That's what it was.
Yeah.
You know? And, it just makes this... She just made it seem like she was going to go somewhere. She was in a movie with Devin Sawa.
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah. Yeah, he was like a teen heartthrob. And then he ends up playing Stan in the Eminem music video.
Oh.
Yeah. He was the main actor in Idle Hands. He was the kid whose hand gets chopped off and it starts, like, running around like...
Yeah.
Thing from Addams Family.
Let us know 7 says Sin City 2 looks like it'll be as good as the first, if not better. It also does have JGL.
Now that stock I've had invested for quite a long time, and it just got better after Don John.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Don John was great. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm excited. I'm definitely going to see it. I mean, it looks good to me. I do love the style. I love that Frank Miller. Well. That's the only thing. I hope the story stands up because, I mean, all the other ones were based off of novels that he wrote back in his heyday. I think these ones were written specifically for the movie, and Frank Miller's kind of been going through a period of insanity, Like, literally, like, post 9/11 insanity. Like, I don't know if the comic ever came out, but he did, like, Batman versus, like, Al-Qaeda or something like that.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah. Holy shit, throwback.
And then like All-Star Batman and Robin with the famous, the now most famous I'm the goddamn Batman.
Yeah. Like, are you dense or something? Are you fucking retarded? I'm the goddamn Batman.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I would really want to go back and read All-Star Batman because I think one of the reasons
Robin the Boy Wonder.
One of the reasons why it got such backlash because it was like this. It was literally this all-star collaboration. You got Jim Lee. Like, the 90s, like, probably one of the few artists, like, major artists from the 90s that's still respected, like,
that
now.
Still has staying power now. That's like, wow, that guy was great before his time. Like, he literally helped define, like, art for the comic community for
and then you
years.
And then you got Frank Miller, the all-star standout from the 80s, who redefined Batman, Wolverine, and Daredevil, and Elektra. It's like, oh, man.
Coming together.
It's like Superman and Batman team it up.
Yeah.
But then you find out it's directed by Zack Snyder, and you're not as excited.
You're just like, shit. Jim Lee, just go back to Wildcats. Don't waste your time.
Oh, God, Wildcats. I remember we used to watch the cartoon on the USA Network. Wildcats.
Is that how it sounds? Yeah, you make it sound like an emo song. Like the Goo Goo Dolls should be singing it.
I'm sure they did a cover. Oh, man.
Like Bryan Adams should be like belting out a tune to that.
They had one Coldplay did a theme song for him. Sometimes you're the grifter. Sometimes you're the Spartan. I don't know how they sound, but anyway.
I was about to say, stop. Please.
So, here's some not exciting news. Well, potentially. So, I'm not really a fan of comic book, but video game adaptations just because
they're all awful.
Yeah, they're all awful. Although I feel like the one that has the most potential is World of Warcraft, only because it just seems like even if they completely just go away from the story, it's still like going to be a really cool looking like medieval movie. Hopefully, like the visuals. I mean, they have potential. But one, I don't know. It just annoys me that they're making this into a movie. But Last of Us, which was a great game.
They're already trying to make it into a movie?
Yeah. Ellen Page, excellent award-winning performance from Ellen Page. She was excellent as Ellie.
Can she look like a 14-year-old?
And yeah, so yeah, it's very narrative-driven. I mean, granted, the game mechanics are fantastic. I would recommend it to anyone, but it's like it pretty much already was a movie. Like,
yeah, it's pretty
know.
Incredible.
I mean, I really don't see them topping it, to be honest. I just feel like them butchering it, but apparently, it's in production, and, oh, God. So, the person that's working on the production company, okay, so this is actually kind of good news. So the person that worked on the remake of Evil Dead, which I haven't seen, but that's been, like, one of the universal remakes where everyone's like, yes, we love this. Like, they're like the diehard Evil Dead fans. So, if you can please them, then, I don't know, maybe there's hope for Last of Us after all.
Maybe,
yeah. I mean, it really depends, ultimately, on who's writing it and all that, and, who's going to play Joel. I really do. I just really hope that they really do get Ellen Page to play Ellie.
Well, I don't think so, because she's kind of old.
She is too old, but come on! That's her role. It is
her role. You know who I would love to see as Joel?
Who?
Viggo.
Huh.
Viggo Mortensen, man. I think he would be incredible as Joel.
He definitely has the acting chops. I don't know if he can do the southern accent.
If Andrew Lincoln can fucking do it,
Carl.
Carl, where's your mom, Carl?
Oh, you say that. I want Andrew Lincoln to be Joel.
He does have a really nice beard. I will say that.
I want them to have 3 actors. I want them to have Andrew Lincoln, Woody Harrelson, and Matthew McConaughey.
I was almost positive you were going to say Norman Reedus. No, I think Viggo Mortensen. If you think like Viggo Mortensen from The Road, like this movie would actually do him justice, unlike The Road, which was not really that great.
Yeah, I never saw The Road. I did see History of Violence.
I saw it. It was on. I don't know if it's still on there, but I saw it when it came on Netflix. I believe it was Netflix or Hulu. I don't know. I remember watching it online though. It might have been illegally too. So who knows?
Nice.
But I remember watching it. It was a fun movie. It was a good movie, but it wasn't like. I wish there was more action. There was too much suspense, in my opinion. And I don't know. It just felt like it was supposed to be a movie where like the family really comes together. Well, the family, like the. What do you call it?
The mafia family?
Yeah, the kid and the dad. But it ends up not really being what I thought it was. And maybe that's just why I'm more disappointed with it. I don't know. Just take that character that he played and put him in The Last of Us. That's Joel. That's Joel,
Well, maybe I have to check it out so I
give him that redeeming factor. And I haven't seen him in anything in forever. Like,
yeah.
I don't know if he just like... he can't find any acting gigs, or if he's just like sitting fat on Lord of the Rings money.
Maybe.
So
he didn't inherit an entire kingdom at the end.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I honestly don't blame him. But I just want to see some Viggo.
Yeah, I can definitely respect that. Okay, so this is the part that I thought I had read, but I couldn't find it in this article until now. Okay, so the creative director, Neil, I thought it said Duckman, but it's Druckmann. So he's writing the script. So he's the guy who pretty much wrote the game, so he's going to write the movie. And they're getting the Evil Dead guy, so it's going to be creepy and cringeworthy as hell.
Huh.
So I'm still cautiously optimistic. They have all the tools in place.
Yeah.
But it's a matter of will the Hollywood machine destroy it. But I also want to read Blood Ocean 07's quote. He said, why didn't they make a movie of Beyond Two Souls? Ellen Page is in the game, or in that game. So
I don't know. Well, Beyond Two Souls.
It did kind of.
The ending kind of fell flat.
Beyond Two bombed.
Well, I mean, the whole thing has you go through the whole game has you go through all this suspense and stuff, but it's all told from a post point of view.
Yeah.
So she's telling you about all her experiences leading up to that point in the game that she's describing all those experiences. Like, at no point are you ever going to die, and if you play the game wrong and die, it just kind of like veers you back into life.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, you're playing this whole game knowing full well that there are no actual consequences to your action because from where the game starts, in the way she's explaining her experiences, it's like, oh, well, obviously she's alive through the beginning of the game. It's not like you're just starting and she escapes. It's like she's telling it like kind of like post breakout. So
didn't they have a movie?
In that sense, it was kind of depressing. And then the game doesn't really go anywhere at the end.
Yeah. It seems like it was more just like, check out these really cool and innovative game mechanics.
Well, to me, it was more like, look at the cinematic achievement we've done.
Yeah.
And it was really ambitious in that sense, but it was just kind of like, let's focus on all the flashiness.
Yeah.
To disprove all the Eberts out there, that games aren't art, and let's make the most artsy, great, incredible, enthralling video game experience that's out there. And they achieved a lot of that, but at the end, it's like, well, this story it's not worth telling. It just, there's something about it that just didn't make it great.
Yeah.
That didn't justify the $60 price tag. Everything about the game is great. The gameplay is great. The graphics are incredible. The motion capture, the acting is it's superior to anything that you could get in most games. You got Willem Dafoe, you got Ellen Page. Like, what's more to like? But the script just fell flat. And the director, I believe, of the game was also the one writing the script, and he was just feeling himself too much.
This is the thing that I think is really funny about that game, is like he himself was even like, well, this isn't a game I expect people to play through more than once. Why the hell would you make a game like that? Like,
I know!
Really? Like,
you're just shooting yourself in the foot. Like, do you want to make another game or not? Like, how can you make a comment like that and not expect, and still expect to get funding after that,
Well, to me, if you're going to make a game that you can only play through once and it's a pretty quick play, it should be like no more than $10. If it's only going to be one time, it should be like, all right, this is pretty much like a motion picture experience. Here's your $10. But for $60 for something with no replay value, yeah, come on.
Yeah. Zero replay value.
Yeah. So it's like I just looked it up. I was trying to see like, okay, well maybe it's cheaper now. Maybe I'll pick it up for like $5. Still $60.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I can get it on GameFly after we play the Deadpool game. We're going to start a Let's Play Deadpool pretty soon.
Yeah. Well, eventually we'll finish our other 3 Let's Plays.
Yeah. We need to finish that Tomb Raider.
Oh, man. So, So other topics. These are, I guess, more controversial ones. But, so apparently this comes via Destructoid. But fan artist asked Feminist Frequency to stop using her ads, or start using her art, and she awaits response. So I'll let Agamemnon tackle this one since he's a lot more familiar with it.
Okay. And if you can, just find my post so we can read off some of the comments that I got through my Facebook. Because it's some pretty good feedback, and I just want to give those people shout-outs. But basically, I don't know if anybody's familiar with Anita Sarkeesian. If you're familiar with video games, you more than likely are. Anita Sarkeesian is a very controversial figure within gaming, mostly in that she just kind of popped out of nowhere. And I'm not extremely familiar with her work. I'm not like intimate with her work, but I know she has created a lot of controversy, and she's got a lot of hate behind her. Her views have been, from what I've read about her views have been detailed as more leaning like extreme feminist, to where she breaks down like everything into feminist tropes, to where like, oh well, this is ridiculous, and if you actually let's post link to the article here to you guys before I continue on, so you can read and watch along. But if you look at it actually has comparisons of the artwork in question, and you can look at some of that artwork, and you can see the nurse who's actually a character in the game Skullgirls, which is ripped right out of the game. Like that's the game sprite right there. Which and what's funny is that's original artwork right there. So if the studio behind that game came out and was like, you need to take that down, well, and this is part of the problem. There's Lara Croft literally taken straight off the box art. Lots of people do that. Yeah. Even in our Let's Plays, we don't take other people's art. We don't take fan art, but we have our own art that we've paid for. Mm-hmm. And with the save file corrupted, by the talented Mr. Johnny Freeze, and then we put up we put up the game's like main banner when it was shipped. Like so, Battlefield, you just see Battlefield, and then like the buff soldier dude on the side, or with Tomb Raider, Tomb Raider with Lara Croft's face, which was like on the cover of PC Gamer. Not PC Gamer, but like Game Informer and stuff like that. So they were all like promo pictures in some sense, and you can find them on Google. So we just grabbed that, made it small, and put it on our own pictures so people see like, oh, they're playing this game, and raging out over it. So it's not like we're going on DeviantArt and finding people's stuff and altering it and then putting it on our pictures. We're not doing that. We actually pay for our own artwork. But in this case, Anita Sarkeesian, for all her controversy, she still actually has a lot of backup, a lot of support behind her. And there's a what is that? It's a PBS game show. If you don't know, if you've never seen it, check it out on YouTube. But he actually makes the case for Anita Sarkeesian. Like, does the gaming community need someone like her? And so he goes on this whole dissertation about why what she's doing is good, even though it's met with a lot of negativity, a lot of misogyny, and a lot of chauvinism. Why people like her are needed within the game community to kind of help keep it in check, and things that she did wrong. So if you're looking at that picture, there's her TVW promo with all those pictures, and the original artwork is highlighted with the purple background, which is taken, I believe, off of Tamara Calkitty Gray's DeviantArt page. And then, they got the third picture with the opacity to show, like, oh, well, they just take the opacity off the background, and her signature, which I believe is on the top right corner of that picture, and completely, and they don't give her any credit. So they just take the picture, and that's what you see on the left. So it looks like, okay, is that their own artwork? So you just see this picture of a pretty girl. I believe she's the princess from the Dragon's Lair games, for the Dragon's Lair franchise. So, in this case, Tamara Calkitty sent a letter asking Anita to remove the artwork from her website, and basically just like, could you please not use it, for anything? Just don't use it. And Anita, according to Tamara, pretty much said, "I'm protected by fair use." And there's nothing you can do about it. So I'm going to keep using your artwork because it was for transformative in nature, and therefore it constitutes fair use. So Tamara disagreed, and she pretty much lawyered up. And the thing goes on to kind of weigh the pros and cons to where, now that Tamara's lawyered up, can she win? And maybe not, since it's fan artwork and not original art. If it was original artwork and Anita was refusing to take it down, then yes, she is within full legal right to sue for money, because that's damages, If you made a character named, like, Captain Cockblast, and someone was taking and taking that and using it, you can sue them for money, because that's money that you're losing. You didn't license that character. You didn't give permission for them to use it. But if it's like, this is my version of the Ninja Turtles, and someone used that for like a thing,
lips and nostrils.
As long as they're not making money off of that, you're protected under fair use. Well, here's the argument, and although I couldn't find anything to substantiate it, there's people in comments and sections and stuff that, stating one part why Anita is so controversial is because she claims she's a legal nonprofit, but there's cases made, because of her Kickstarter program, which the promo picture is for, that constitutes her being a for-profit. And thusly, she can actually be sued for not,
I see. Yeah.
I'm not specific with the laws, but from what I was reading, that's what those things mean. On top of that,
I know I can go toe to toe with you in bird law.
Bird law, yeah. We can go on bird law. Protect the blue jays. Them red birds. Another thing that makes Anita, this is a little off topic, but still on topic. It's more of a character assassination, really. Anita Sarkeesian is also known, not rumored or suspected, but known to rip Let's Play videos and pass them off as her own. while also, talking about TV tropes or reviewing game and breaking it down. She's using other people's Let's Plays without crediting them.
Oh, I see.
So she's a very kind of shisty person, and to me, in my opinion, I think it's more like intentional to where it's helping her garner more viewership by doing these shady things, but it's not helping her reputation. It might be padding her wallet, but for how long? How long after doing all these shady deals? How long do you really expect to last?
Yeah, I think eventually it's going to come to a head, and she's going to go to a premiere with a paper bag over her head that says, "I'm not famous anymore."
World War Shia.
Yeah, her and Shia LaBeouf are going to get hitched.
Yeah.
And they're going to, their kids aren't even going to be theirs. They're going to be they're just going to steal, Brad and Angelina's kids and plagiarize them.
The real issue that I have here, the lawyer up and stuff, and that's all fine and dandy, but, in the comments that was left on my Facebook, someone had suggested, if they're using that promo for Kickstarter, you can report it to Kickstarter, and they can force them to take it off, because that also makes Kickstarter liable.
Yeah.
So if she refuses, then the girl, if she just, she's obviously lawyering her up. Whether it's a veiled threat or if she's literally going to take her to civil court, that remains to be seen. But if she does do that, she can also, indict Kickstarter for refusing to take any action, because it's happening on Kickstarter's website, not exactly just on Anita Sarkeesian's website.
Yeah,
you want to say something?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to mention some artists, some other artists, their perspective on the whole situation, and one in particular. So you mentioned that she's going to court and she's lawyering up, but a friend of ours, Tyler Richland, who's a good buddy, training partner, and amazing artist in his own right. And he says, I probably wouldn't do anything of the legal variety if the fan art was stolen. It would have to be creator-owned. However, I would gladly take a vacation to their house and kick their teeth in for the fun of it. Mess with my image, I mess with yours. Pretty simple, really, and it's cheaper than hiring a lawyer. So... And my very well thought out response was, "Why can I only like this once?" So I like the cut of Tyler's jib.
Yeah.
So let that be a lesson: don't steal Tyler's art unless you already don't have teeth, and therefore you have nothing to lose besides bones and blood.
So my whole issue with this is that she took the picture and. Not only did she refuse, just outright refuse. You can that picture's replaceable.
Yeah.
Why fight this so bad? And that's part of my reason why I think she's just doing it for publicity.
Oh, yeah.
The whole saying, any publicity is better than no publicity. Because now she's got people talking. I'm sure her CPMs are going through the roof. People are checking out her videos. And all her videos, she disables comments and stuff, so no one can properly comment, so she doesn't actually get feedback. It's very one-sided. The way she handles her business. I don't know. To me, it's just kind of shady. I don't support stuff like that. I understand, if certain people, they disable comments because they get too many negative stuff, and I understand that was her reasoning for it. But to do that with all videos and not really get any proper feedback, and then it's rumored that she deletes people's tweets or blocks them outright from her accounts on Twitter. It's just that's more work than it's really worth. It's if you can't handle the feedback, then stop doing it.
Yeah,
the feedback comes, the trolls, that comes with the whole job, but. I don't know, if you got the time to do it, then, go for it. But the thing that really, really irks me the most is that she just outright refuses to credit Tamara in this whole thing. It's how are you, in what right do you think you have by not only taking someone's art, but then editing out their signature and passing it off as your own, because that's essentially what it is.
Yeah.
Whether you acknowledge that, I'm using it under fair use, but the fact that you completely altered it to where her signature doesn't show up, you give her no credit, no publicity, no positive publicity over this and forcing her to take legal matters because she doesn't want her artwork involved with your fucking bullshit.
Yeah, that's the thing too, because it's like it's not like you just have like a fan art page. It's like, oh, here's all the pictures of the, the girl from Dragon's Lair or whatever. It's like, no, you're using this as a political statement.
Yeah.
And you're using someone else's art, and it's like, well, if they don't agree with your statement, they have every right to say, I don't want this to be a part of this,
Yeah.
And it's like, on top of, editing out her signature so she gets zero credit.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to read this comment. Someone commented on your Facebook post about, she absorbs bad publicity and lets it fuel her feminist hatred. She gives feminists a bad name, and she is absolutely awful, and people fund her anyway. So, I guess for people that are familiar with her, this is pretty. I guess this sounds like this is par for the course for her. Like, she just likes to stir up controversy to get people talking.
Yeah, and there's I've seen the arguments where she's not considered a true gamer because she just talks about games and game tropes, but she doesn't actually, the Let's Play she does are actually ripped from other YouTube accounts. Like, I guess there's evidence of that.
Yeah.
That she rips it from other people and then doesn't give them the credit. So like you said, it very much does seem like it's par for the course. That she's not a true gamer. To me, that's not really my focus. My focus is just like credit where credit's due, bitch.
Yeah.
Credit where credit is fucking due. There's people that put in hard work, blood, sweat, tears, sacrifice, and you're gonna throw some fair use bullshit at them. Fuck you. Fuck you and anything you stand for.
Well, the funny thing is,
whatever you stand. Whatever you stand for is fucking moot.
Yeah.
Because you're bullshit. You've refused to support the talent that you steal for your own to make your own fucking points. Your points are now bullshit. They're irrelevant in my opinion. That's where I stand on all this.
I was going to say, I'm not as familiar with the Fair Use Act, but I think you actually do have to credit who you got it from. I think that's actually part of it.
Well, and I hope that if it does go to court, that case is made, and she either gives Tamara credit or preferably does what she asked in the first place and have it taken down.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's just bullshit.
It really
bullshit,
is,
man.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and I think that's also the really unfortunate thing where it's like, she's pretty much got what she wanted, where she's got people talking about her. Because I had never heard about her until now, or until read the article. So she's doing the thing to stir things up and piss everybody off, and just to get people talking, which unfortunately
it's working.
That's her end game. So enough about her. Another controversy. That's right here in our good old city of Austin, Tejas. So, so we have an upcoming comic convention. This will be their inaugural event, which is
Sorry.
Anyway, so I was saying, so this would be their inaugural event, which would be Capital City Comic Con. They had the ingenious idea of wanting to promote it by having a flyer that has Power Girl, like a zoom up of Power Girl's breast with the caption "Everything's bigger in Austin," playing off of the obvious "Everything's bigger in Texas." And so there was tremendous backlash. It's kind of interesting because the way I found out about it is I saw everybody's response. I didn't see the ad until later. I had to go look it up because I didn't know what they were talking about.
Yeah.
And so I'm just looking here, and the first thing I saw was misogynist man boys. Some put, I've become aware of a certain promo. Actually, no, that was one. So this is one of the most important ones, I think. So someone commented, terrible PR and clearly not a safe environment for anyone who wants to avoid harassment. Oh. And I think for some people that saw all the controversy, I don't think that they really put it in that context. Because, there's this sexist aspect of it and not condoning it, but it's kind of like, it's childish and it's sexist. But it's like, to me, an even bigger issue is the fact that, a lot of comic conventions, a lot of males don't realize this because obviously very few guys go to conventions and get harassed and groped and, stuff like that. Yeah. But this is a legitimate concern. Yeah.
We're just really gross.
Yeah. But this is a legitimate concern for women where, I remember when I went to Wizard World last year and literally the second I stepped on the convention floor, these two girls were walking in, or they're already in there, and she turns to one of her friends. She's like, prepare to, get your ass slapped. And her friend turned to her, in disbelief, seriously?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, that happens, just get ready. And, so to even have to make that comment and for that to be a reality where guys, they have the whole campaign against this, cosplay is not consent.
Yeah.
But just because you see a woman in a skimpy costume, just because they're wearing the Power Girl boob window, doesn't mean that you get to touch the boobs.
This is a gentleman's club, This is a place for you to geek out and enjoy comics and meet friends.
Yeah. So I think that's the kind of the point that a lot of people miss, and they're just like, oh, it's people just being oversensitive and they're bitching, and it's just boobs. Nothing wrong with boobs. I mean, the character has boobs. It's like, yeah, I get that, but in my opinion, the real part is like, yeah, girls see this and they see this as, well, if this is the way they're promoting, how are they going to react if something happens? If I report like, hey, this guy's stalking me, this guy is trying to grab me, they don't feel like it's going to be safe because, well, these guys obviously all they care about are boobs. And it's interesting because it's not like just one girl posted that, like, that's been like a sentiment that's been echoed where it's like they feel like this creates an unsafe environment, and I think that's a legitimate concern.
Yeah, just to put a little context into this, there was a Tumblr page where this comes from. It's the Tumblr page is called DC Women Kicking Ass, and she had posted a message to Cap City Comic Con's Facebook page, which I couldn't find it, so I'm assuming it's been deleted. In response to an original. This was all in response to the original Twitter post by Richard Neal of Zeus Comics, based out of Dallas. DC Women Kick It Ass actually copy-pasted the whole reaction, posted it on her Tumblr blog, and in the post, the promoters defended the promo card, which focused on Power Girl's boob window with the tagline, like you said earlier, everything's bigger in Austin. The promoter closed, he was explaining his decision for it, and then he closed his statement to her with, I have to wonder if you've ever been to a Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And I think from there the real rage began. From graphicpolicy.com highlighted many of the negative responses and ratings on the promoter's Facebook page, which I will go ahead and link you guys to it. Hang on, let me just put this in the chat real fast because it's kind of funny, like the extent of hate just so quickly developed. Okay, so the original the original post was, it's one of many promotional flyers for the con. I like the idea of reaching out to many aspects of the community, and honestly, this was one of the more humor-oriented ones. If this bothers you, I have to wonder if you've ever been to a Comic-Con.
I was going to mention they really backpedaled, because then afterwards, like after everyone started like, hey, you guys are assholes, then they're like, oh, well, that was somebody else. That's a different marketing company that was on the Facebook.
Well, it wasn't even a marketing company. It was like the marketing guy has since been walked out and fired. Yeah, but they still didn't apologize.
But basically they were trying to, shift the blame.
Yeah.
Even though it came out, and I think that was also in the DC Woman Kicking Ass Tumblr, where they even contacted the guy who said that the guy that's running the main convention, and they even contacted him, and he was like, I approved this, and several people approved it, and we all thought that it was okay. Like, to me,
we all found it humorous.
And to me, that's like, okay, this is the whole thing. So it's whatever, they do the Power Girl boob window. They all think it's funny. Like, oh yeah, this is funny. It's playing off of the everything's bigger in Texas. They didn't see any harm in it. They obviously weren't doing this maliciously. But you get a response where it's like, hey, I was interested in your con. Now I'm offended, or I feel unsafe. If your reaction is just to be an asshole, it's not going to win you any favors. Like, even if they were in the right, it's like just like coming from a business perspective. When you have customers and they have a problem with what you're doing, being a douchebag is not, it's not productive. It's not going to help you. Like, if they would have been like, oh, we're really sorry. Like, have the conversation and have the discourse started off with them being apologetic and like, oh, we didn't realize. We apologize. We didn't realize, like, this was going to cause your reaction. We're a bunch of dudes in a room. We like boobs. Sorry. We'll try harder next time. Instead of, like, the snarky, well, you up. Do you even Comic-Con, bro? Like, that type of attitude. It's like, you're not going to be very endearing.
I know there was another Tumblr post that was actually responded to the DC Women Kicking Ass, and she actually said that she had contacted. His name was Aaron Luivano. Luivano. And
Luis
so
Vano.
she wrote to him, Dear Mr. Luivano, As such, I tend to follow news and interesting stories about the comic industry, and that includes conventions like yours. It was brought to my attention by the DCWomenKickingAss.com site that your DC Comics-oriented postcard for the Austin Comic-Con, the one that has garnered several complaints from female comics fans, the one that says everything's bigger in Austin while focusing on the boob window of Power Girl's costume, your response to a complaint was that, if you're bothered by this, I have to wonder if you've ever been to a convention before. So allow me to assure you that I have. I've been going to conventions since I was a little girl in the 1980s, so your snide and unprofessional dismissal has no place in our conversation. I've been, and I'm offended. You could have made the same point, the same joke about how everything's bigger in Austin with Giant Man, or Colossal Boy, Galactus. There are a significant number of huge male characters who could have made the same joke, but you chose to go the misogynistic angle and pick the Power Girl's breast joke. That being said, all things being equal, I have to wonder if you've ever been on the internet. Misogyny, anti-women sentiment, it tends to get shared. What gets shared goes viral. What goes viral tends to generate news. Boycotts too. Perhaps you've not paid attention to the conversations that have been happening around conventions and the respectful treatment of women. There are conventions which are reviewing their policies around sexual harassment and the law. There are conventions making certain that people have safe spaces to go when the crowding becomes too much. Your brochure and your response to politely expressed concerns make it seem like you have no interest in a safe space for half of the population of your city, or anyone who might be inclined to spend valuable tourist dollars coming to Austin for your convention. Perhaps you feel like the big cons are the only ones that have to worry about such issues, Worldcon or SDCC. This is 2014, and what happens on the internet happens everywhere. Perhaps you just have a person who answers your email and Facebook comments seeking to diminish the load of work you have to do as a convention is a very involved undertaking. And that person was the one who answered not one but two respectful concerns with disrespectful jokes at their expense. Whichever it is, it would probably be in your best interest to consider that the women who live in Austin have money equally green to that of the men, and that pandering to the men at the expense of the women is likely going to diminish the number of attendees. So my suggestion would be to show a little more respect for the women who might be interested in coming to Austin Comic-Con. Find someone else who can make jokes without offending people, and who can also answer Facebook comments and email without insulting the women who express concern. Thank you for your time. Indigo C. out of Atlanta, GA. I honestly, I really applaud this response. This is one of my favorite ones that I found, and I think it hit every point that anybody who would defend these guys could make against them. You know?
Yeah, it pretty much covers all its bases, and it's not being, like, overreactive. It's just like, no, this is a legitimate response.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go to Blood Ocean 07's point where he says, Power Girl's more known for being large-breasted, more so than other female heroes, so the promo makes sense with that tagline. To me, it's not a matter that it doesn't make sense. I mean, this is a joke, and in my opinion, it's like, it's such a lame and obvious joke, but to me, it's, like, inappropriate for the venue, because I was telling Agamemnon on this, where it's like, your audience, first of all, your audience includes a lot of women and also children. That's not the way you really want to market to them. Like, I understand, like, most guys, like, yeah, it's boobs, we don't care. But it's like, you know, if you just look at it in that respect. But on top of that,
I mean,
it's
there's
like,
gentlemen's clubs promos that have more class than that.
Yeah.
Just to be honest.
But
even these are some gritty places. Yeah.
But even with that, if they did, like, Geeks Who Drink Night at Hooters, and that's how they promoted it, okay.
That's within
that makes
reason,
sense.
because that's who you're appealing to. You're appealing to males that want to see boobs and eat chicken wings.
Yeah, I mean,
and answer geek questions.
Yeah, because I mean that's already realistically that's the purpose of Hooters. I mean, they legally that was even like legally like I think some guy had sued because they said it was sexist that he couldn't work there. Like, no, we sell sex. That's the entire point.
Yeah.
You know, so if that is the business that you're in, then that ad is appropriate. Mm-hmm. When it's a comic book convention that really is supposed to be all ages appropriate, that's not appropriate. Like that's like, no, you completely misplace you know what it's supposed to be.
You're alienating the audiences that generally do go to Comic-Cons, which is family oriented. You know, young people. A lot of these girls are very young, underage. The ones that are going cosplay, a lot of them are around 16 to 15-year-olds. And honestly, I potentially have a daughter going along the way, and if she decides she wants to cosplay from a young age, I don't want some asshole groping her because somebody put out a flyer with Power Girl's boobs on it. I get the joke. It's fine. To me, in any other context, put it in a Facebook meme. It's funny. But not for a promo promoting a family environment. Because that's what Comic-Cons are. It's to me, hands down, you have to promote bring your family. You have to do that.
And again, if it was
it's not a gentleman's thing, it's not a feminist thing, it's a family thing.
Yeah, and to me, it's like if it was supposed to be like a more adult-oriented con, then I can still see that. But again, it's just to me, it just didn't fit what they're supposed to be advertising.
Yeah. Comics and pop culture doesn't just it doesn't just comply or appeal to one genre. It appeals to all audiences. So whenever you're doing anything pop culture related, you're going to draw all audiences. It's not like an adult expo, where you're just going to have strippers and porn stars there. That's specific. That's genre specific. Or an electronics expo. Kids aren't necessarily going to have fun there. But when you're doing Comic-Con, you're thinking Batman, Ninja Turtles, TV cartoons, all that's going to be there. There's going to be people dressing up as those. That's going to appeal to everybody. Everybody. So why would you alienate any section of that?
Yeah. But I had posted pretty much my rebuttal to their ad, which is Superman's crotch with the everything's bigger in Austin. And Louis said, "What's funny about that pic is that Brandon Routh put Brandon Ruff has a big package, so it had to be digitally shrunken when he was in Superman Returns."
Nice.
So he saw that on Nerdy Facts Tumblr. So Brandon Routh didn't get a show off. He didn't get a shake what his mama gave him, unfortunately, in Superman Returns. Maybe that was a real reason why that movie didn't do as well. Maybe the fangirls and some fanboys alike they're disappointed.
So ultimately, Aaron Luvano, the guy who's throwing the whole convention, this was pretty much his last response. In response to our prior ad campaign, the proper steps are being taken in regards to this situation. Capital City Comic Con did not mean to offend or harm anyone in any way. Our advertising department has been contacted and changes to our marketing material and plan are being made. We respect everyone's opinion. We are glad this issue was brought to our attention. We want everyone to feel safe at our convention and not feel offended. As a comic book convention, it is primordial. Is that the right word to even use?
I guess.
Whatever. It's primordial that we do not send the wrong message to fans, even though that's what they did. We were contacted by a few female fans who wished to support the distribution of our initial flyers, to which we respectfully declined. Like that's going to make it okay. As for our future plans, we will no longer use the image of superheroes or any character in such fashion. We wish to apologize to anyone we may have offended with our initial promotional campaign. We would like to invite all of you to comment on our new campaign once released. And that sentence before is the one that really irks me the most. Like, we apologize if we offended you. We don't apologize because we were in the wrong. We just sorry you got butthurt.
Well, to me, the whole we had female fans that were interested in distributing it. I always hate when people do that. When they do something offensive, they're always like, well, this one girl wasn't offended, or this one black guy, he wasn't offended. It's like, I have black friends, I'm not a racist. Like, that doesn't fucking make it okay. Because somebody else is okay with it, that doesn't automatically negate.
Yeah, that's like me saying, oh, well, I'm friends with Prometheus, so I can drop the N-word whenever I want. It's like, that is stupid and ignorant.
Yeah, it's I don't know, but it's always one of those where it just seems it makes the quote unquote apology it might have used a Shia LaBeouf plagiarized one, but it makes it seem like that much more disingenuous. Where it's like, oh yeah, we're totally sorry that you got offended, but whatever.
We actually had people that wanted to do that, and they contacted us even in spite of all this. So it was like, well, fine. But it doesn't make what you're doing right, because there's a small minority of females that are still willing to go, and pass out the boob flyers. Yeah. That doesn't make it okay.
But it's like, what does that have to do with your apology? Why is that in there?
Yeah.
If you're saying sorry, you don't have to be like, oh, but let's defend ourselves.
Yeah, it's just rubbing salt in the wounds. You're not helping anything. You're not trying to patch up any PR, and the fact that, one, you can't even if you're hiring a marketing ad and you pick the wrong people, and then you go and say something like that, it's like, you need some fucking serious help, because you're picking ad marketers that have the same mindset as you. Yeah. Which is maybe not misogynistic. That might be going a little too far. but definitely insensitive.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think that's actually a good word for it. Yeah, very insensitive and just just very naive, you know, because that's the whole thing. It's like one of our buddies had commented where he said that, just to paraphrase, I don't have the quote right now, but pretty much he said that, you know, most cosplayers are respected by the professionals that are at the conventions. Yeah. It's like, okay. And then he said, you know, I assume that most fans are like that, but that's not actually the case. A lot of them aren't like that, and that is the issue.
Yeah.
You know, because that's the thing. It's like, you know, you're, like I said, like, you're a guy, and, you know, you assume that, oh, yeah, you know, most, you know, it's like, you're like, well, I don't harass cosplayers, so no one else does. I don't ever get harassed. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't go on. It's like, you might not be aware of it, but it's actually a very big deal, you know, that goes on there. So, I don't know if you have any other closing remarks.
Just from people that were commenting on the thing on Facebook. One person in particular, the promo is in bad taste, for one, but when called out on it, the con released a statement saying, have you ever been to a con? Obviously not, you wouldn't be offended, which basically means they think it's okay for women to be overtly objectified for the enjoyment of humor of their con goers. As a woman, I would not feel safe going to this con because it appears they have no respect for women and would most likely ignore harassment at their con, let alone makes me wonder the type of people who would be attending or employed at said con. Which reminds me of a point I had made earlier in that day. I actually went to the website to try to find an FAQ. Just before I jumped conclusions, they have no FAQ whatsoever about anything having to do with the convention.
Yeah.
Which to me is kind of a red flag right off the bat. Like, if you don't have any kind of, you know, FAQ for people that are going to the con to guide, like, what's okay. I mean, yeah, what's okay and what's not okay goes without saying. That doesn't mean people don't break rules and regulations. There's a reason why we have laws, because if everyone just had common sense, we wouldn't need laws to enforce. You know, if people had common sense and knew better and exercised caution, we wouldn't need laws. But we have laws, and we have people that break those laws. And we have people that go to any kind of venue, and they steal things. Whether you see it or not doesn't mean it's not happening right behind your back. Yeah. You know? And, you know, like the girl at Wizard World, just like, hey, be prepared to touch ass. I didn't see a single person get their ass touched. You know, nor did I go around touching ass, but that doesn't mean people didn't see that happening or have it happen to them, you know? Because, you know, they pick, those people are good. They pick, they know when to do it. They know when people aren't looking. You know, sometimes they get caught in the red, and sometimes they wait in the bathrooms, you know? Who knows? We get those creepers all the time. There's people like that. They exist, you know? And they're found in the oddest places, you know?
And the dumpster behind Whataburger. Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, there's people that justify it, and I just wish I had this a little more in tune. But I found a really good comment from because I had posted this trying to get people's thoughts on the Refugees of Spill page, and there was one comment that I really enjoyed, and it was actually. I mean, to me, it didn't really justify it, but it was probably one of the more well-said, well-spoken gripes about the whole thing. And I can't fucking find it. Yeah. Oh, well. I can post it later, the whole conversation.
Yeah. But basically, all in all, we said, you touch my ass, Dewey? No, sir. I know your tricks, Dewey. But, but I mean, the whole thing is like, you know, it's all about respect and, you know, having a safe environment for everybody, you know. And also just being aware that, that these types of things happen and that, you know, the only way to stop them is to be aware of them, and that way we can actually address them. You know, you can't have, like, the whole head in the sand, like, oh, no, you know, it's all, everything's good. It's like, no, not necessarily. It's not all good. But we can, you know, you can be part, you can be part of the problem. Bro, you can be part of the solution, bro. So, I'll be the latter half. But anyway, so we have one last topic to go on. And this one is this one's near and dear to my heart because I'm a huge fan of Game of Thrones, and the next season starts in April. And to promote the next season of Game of Thrones, some genius at HBO or whoever cooked up this, they're like, you know what? You know, when I read Game of Thrones, when I think about Westeros and, you know, this faux medieval ages and dragons. Think about hip-hop. Because, nothing says Dracarys, like some bass and some subwoofers. So basically, they got they have an interesting cast of rappers for this. So they have Common, who I think is like the only notable person on there. Yeah. Not a huge fan, but he's at least respectable.
Westeros ain't nothing to fuck with.
Yeah. Okay, and they have Big Boy from Outkast. He's also good. But on top of that, they have some guy named Whale and Daddy Yankee, who I've never heard of.
Daddy Yankee? Ugh, I hate Daddy Yankee.
And they have Bodega Bams. What? And someone who I just recently heard of, Snow the Product. Just the name alone. Now, actually, you know what? I kind of get the cross-promotional appeal because winter's coming, Snow the Product.
Yeah,
she's the product of the winter. But oh god, she's terrible. I heard the name. I was like, okay, I'll check out who this person is. Yeah. She was kind of hot with blue hair, so I was like, all right, let's see if she has skills as well. No, she doesn't. Like, I was listening to her rap, and I was like, this is exactly why people that don't like any rap or any hip-hop, this is why. It's because of stuff like this, where it's like, they feel like anybody can be a musician, because you don't have to play an instrument, and they feel like any marginally talented person can get behind a microphone and try and make music, or whatever this is considered. And it was so bad. It took all of my willpower to sit through.
It was just... No.
It was terrible. It was like I felt like someone being tortured by Jack Power, and I was just like, I'm trying not to break, but I'm just going to tell him what he wants to know.
Yeah.
But it was all sorts of awful. But I don't know. To me, this mixtape could have been good. Like, one, if they would have just picked like the right people, where they're actually just people that are good at like telling stories. Like someone like, well, it didn't even have to be a Mortal Technique, but someone with really good like storytelling, like a storytelling style of rapping. Or someone like, like people, members of the Wu-Tang Clan, they already do like the Kung Fu and stuff. So, okay, like Game of Thrones doesn't seem like that big of a jump. But you have more like commercial type rappers. It's just like, what? It just doesn't mesh like at all. But ultimately, the person they left off that would have been perfect is Ice-T. Because we already saw him fumble with Dungeons and Dragons. So I think Game of Thrones would have been a logical next step. So and it's like the song he made for the show wouldn't even have been like the biggest part, the best part of it. Yeah. I think it would have been his his reaction. He's like, man, they got motherfucking dragons and shit. They're in places that don't exist. I couldn't even pronounce all these names. It's like what's going on here? They killed Sean Beam in like one episode. Like, I don't get it.
That's my man right there. Who's gonna kill him?
Yeah. So I think Ice-T definitely could have added credence to this mixtape. So I don't know. I don't know. I get that they're trying to advertise, but I kept seeing this in my Facebook feed, and I finally checked it out. I was like, all right, let me listen to it. And the only lyric I remember was Common, and he's like, man, when I'm in my zone, it just feels like a Game of Thrones. I'm just like, done. Like, great. It's like, this is your promo. This is what's supposed to entice me to be interested in the product, not Snow the Product. But the product of the mixtape is this is terrible. It'd be one thing if I just didn't like rap at all, but it's like I love rap. There's so many great hip-hop artists out there that don't get any credence because all the garbage ones are the ones that have the spotlight. And, and it breaks my heart because I knew it was you. So that's all I had to say about that. I just wanted to have a little more lighthearted one after we have, harassment and plagiarism, basically being a large part of the night.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much all I got. I know you had put the In the Blood trailer in the show notes. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I don't know if you want to talk about that before we sign off. Agabondon.
In the Blood?
Yeah, the trailer called In the Blood.
I don't think I put that in there.
Oh,
I think it was you.
Oh, and I did put that in there.
Yeah, that's an IGN link. I don't play that game.
Well, apparently Gina Carano is going to be in a new movie called In the Blood, and it's about when her husband Cam Gadgetit vanishes during their Caribbean honeymoon, and Ava, played by Gina Carano, uncovers a violent underworld conspiracy in the middle of an island paradise. So, Gina Carano beating people up with her hands and feet. I'm down, even though it sounds really stupid. I'll watch. So I'm sorry. I like watching that woman beat people up. I watched it in Strike Force. I watched it in Elite XC. I watched it on the big screen. So that's about it. So, yeah. So, before we sign off, be sure to check us out on Punching the Walls of Reality. Check us out on Twitter. That's at PTWOR. You can check out our Facebook, our Facebook page, also Punching the Walls of Reality, and also our YouTube page, which is Pit War PTWOR 512. We have recaps of The Walking Dead. I finally completed mine, not quite on time. We have Let's Plays of Tomb Raider, Army of Two, and Battlefield 4, and soon to be the Deadpool video game. And also check out and stay tuned and check out the Comic Bubble podcast by Luis, who's he's been down with us for a couple of years. So definitely check him out. He's an encyclopedia of comic book knowledge. So give him a shout out and check out his latest comic column of the Comic Bubble.
Yeah,
it's good stuff. Like I said, he knows his stuff. And check us out our other show, Extraordinary, where we cover race and gender topics, kind of similar to the latter half of the podcast. It's a lot more serious. It's not just me trying to troll Agamemnon and make angry faces.
Yeah, it's very conversational and topical.
Yeah, so if you want to check that as well, there's a Facebook page. Yeah.
Facebook page.
Oh yeah, and also Blood Ocean 07 says Assassin's Creed Black Flag, the Let's Play we did with him. Yeah, I don't know when that will be surfacing because I was trying to find the file and I don't know where it is.
It should be under probably your public folders.
I don't know if it actually recorded onto my hard drive.
Oh.
Because it was really good, but I don't know what happened. But I'm gonna try and track it down. I have everything set up. So after the podcast, I'm gonna try and find the pirate.
Okay.
So, anyway, yeah, Luis. Oh yeah, and like Luis's Facebook page, Facebook.com/The Comic Bubble.
El Comic Bubble.
And that's all I have to say about that.
Before we go, we're gonna leave you with this little gem, little throwback, probably when you were a child. Are you gonna sing it with me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I have to.
I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. Catch them is my real test, to train them is my cause. I will travel across the land, searching far and wide. Need Pokemon to understand the power that's inside. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all. I know it's my destiny. You're my best friend. In a world we must defend. Gotta catch 'em all. So true. Our courage will pull us through. You teach me and I'll teach you. Pokemon. Gotta catch 'em all.
Verse 2's coming up, son.
Every challenge along the way, with courage I will face. I will battle every day to claim my rightful place. Come with me, the time is right. There's no better team. Arm in arm, we'll win the fight. It's always been a dream. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all. I know it's my destiny. Oh, you're my best friend. In a world we must defend. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all. So true. Our courage will pull us through. You teach me and I teach you. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all.
Gotta catch 'em all.
Gotta catch 'em all.
Did I mention you gotta catch 'em all? And then when you catch 'em, we'll make new ones. And you still gotta bring it in. Take 'em home.
Gotta catch 'em all. Yeah.
Yes, we are, Louise. Oh, here it comes. Know the product.
Pokemon. follow through. You teach me and I'll teach you. Pokemon! You gotta catch 'em
I teared up a little, man.
Yeah,
a little nostalgic.
That was beautiful. Oh
right.
man, I wish they would take those Pokemon out of captivity and let them roam free instead of using them as gladiators.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks, Luis. Thanks, BloodOcean07. I feel like we have someone else listening, but I think it might just be a ghost.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is Prometheus.
This is Agamemnon.
This has been Straight Outta Austin, and everything's bigger in Austin.
Yeah. Or Texas.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I think that's how it really goes.
Keep Austin weird.
Keep Austin big.
Finally good to see Austin again.
Austin.